what we decided to do when we were looking for jobs, we were interviewing, we were doing the traditional job search, and I had an opportunity with a second interview for a steel company job. I was going to work at a steel plant in Indiana, and there was sort of a moment of truth where I realized, I don't think this is the direction I want to be taking my life in. Nothing wrong with working steel plants, nothing wrong with typical engineering jobs, but it just wasn't the right path for me. So Andrew and I were talking, trying to figure out our next steps. Andrew had some job search bits I want you to talk about in a moment there, Andrew. But what we started to do was think about a problem that I had identified. The year before I came back from my senior year of school here, I worked at Steelcase Office Furniture in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And the challenge was finding all this technical information. I was the intern, so it said, you, go find it all. And I was trying to get it from all these different sources all over the world. And it took a lot of time and energy. And as a somewhat lazy, or maybe looking for a more efficient way to do things kind of guy, it was like, isn't there a clearinghouse? Isn't there one place that we could go to find all this information? And so that's what we set out to do. You want to talk a minute about your job search?
Yeah, I mean, my job hunting experience stemmed from the fact that I knew I should not be an engineer. I knew that anything you have to study for that hard and you still don't understand, you should not be doing it professionally. Lest you build a bridge or something, then it collapses and you kill somebody, so I didn't want that on my conscience. So Greg and I were both into sports equipment materials. So we were both mountain bikers. We both had Cannondale bikes. I was a big skier, snowboarder. And so we applied at Cannondale and all the ski and snowboard companies. And I wrote a letter to Burton Snowboards and with my resume and said, hey, I'm really interested. I'm a fanatic snowboarder. I'm a materials engineer. Your stuff is all about materials. Let's talk. So they wrote back, and I was reading through this letter, and it said, this is great. We love to hire snowboarders and people who know the industry. So come on down and work on the factory floor. And by this time, I was like, I'm going to work at Burton. And then I kept reading, and it said, and after about a year of working on the floor, we'll see if we can find you a paid job. So I knew that that wasn't going to be my future. So no, we had no business experience. There was certainly no CFE. There was a slide up here before that was rotating around that said, need money for your startup venture. That sentiment didn't even approach anybody in 1994 when we graduated. So, but we really had nothing to lose. And it was when Greg came up with this need that we identified, it was really kind of just a beautiful moment of like raw business and pure capitalism. We saw, and we were going to fulfill an unmet customer need, and people were going to pay us for it. We weren't smart enough to consider the reasons not to do it. We didn't really seek reasons not to do it. We really had nothing to lose.